I didn't mention the legendary Damon who ran the door with an iron fist.
He sure did.
I mean, I actually played, I paid my New York nightlife, like, tax that day, because I spent like an hour and a half online, man, in the sun.
Me too!
Yo, it was the worst day of my life, but I enjoyed it because I knew I was going to get into a great event, and I did, you know? And one of the other events I checked out was Dos Caminos, actually. Dos Caminos, they're talking about their new design of their stores and stuff like, not stores, of their chain of restaurants. And Dos Caminos is like a Tex-Mex restaurant. And, you know, got in there. And I want to also thank Diana Creed over at BR Guest Inc. for letting me in. You're awesome, Diana. Yeah, but Dos Caminos, it was a great event. Food, drinks, people, it was awesome, and I definitely thank you, Diana Creed over BR Guest again. And then finally, I moseyed my way down to Burton Snowboards down in Soho at their flagship store, and they had their all seasons event, because I guess they want you to not think of them only in winter. They want you to think about them during the year. So all their stuff is really good. I loved it. Their hats, T-shirts, the whole 9 yards. And then I bumped into the rapper Perry Eats, who was awesome, produced by Rashid Young, one of my previous guests. It was great meeting Perry Eats. And speaking of eating, yo, Williamsburg Pizza was there. Woo! That shit was so good. I mean, I'm definitely like putting now my favorite pizza spot down in South Orange Village Trattoria to number 2. They actually moved to number 2. I mean, my favorite was the calamari slices that they have. Like, that was like amazing. But they're number 2 because of Village Pizza, because of Williamsburg Pizza. And, you know, being out and about in New York, man, you know, you just meet a lot of people and a lot of brands. A lot of the brands that I met, people that were working with, was like Hennessy, Heineken, VS, Avion, Belvedere, JBL, and all those guys. So I definitely want to shout them out. And being out and about in New York, you get to run into a lot of people. You know, different walks of life, different backgrounds, different sexual preferences. And one of my newest and favorite groups is the LGBT community.
Ow.
And so I have an amazing guest today by the name of Raven Ova joining us.
Hello.
Yeah. Definitely. And but before we talk to Raven, and because the reason why I brought Raven on is because I want to know more about like this whole, you know, like transgender, transsexual, like there's a whole lot going on with that, and there's a lot of them in the forefront now. So I want to be able to, when I talk about them and talk to them, like know how I'm dealing with them in the right way and not being like, you know, funny or crazy. You know, me being Mr. New York, like I have to move through a lot of different, you know, scenes, and so I want to be able to move through every scene knowing what, you know, what's the right way to handle things. But before we start, I definitely want to introduce my co-host, the global glam ambassador, building buzz around your city.
Yeah. In
a word, Fab, a.k.a. Lauren Craig. She's joining me here on the co-sign today. How are you, Lauren?
I am so great.
Yeah?
God is good, let me tell you.
Tell me. You look amazing.
Thank you. I mean, I saw you a little over a week ago. We
Right.
just reconnected after a long time,
Right.
chatting about what you're doing, what I'm doing. And here I am up at Sirius XM Studios.
Yeah. Great.
I mean, this is amazing. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for making this possible and everything of the sort. So now, Raven Ova, are you ready? She's back here producing. Ready. She's back here producing everything.
She was born
and I'm
ready.
Like, yo, I'm like, you're like the guest and the interview person. And so,
point.
Oh my God! So I don't even know where to start. So basically, I'm like unscripted right now, like, you know. So I'm out in the city,
Right.
and you see people, and they look different, and you stare at them all the time, you know. And I don't do it in a negative way. It's just I love interesting things and interesting people, and you know, you represent those interesting things and interesting people that I see, that I stare at, but I'm afraid to ask questions about, because I don't, you know, and when I talk to people other than myself, they tell me I do it really badly, and so I brought you here to help me navigate my way through the LGBT community.
But we're talking about the T today.
We're talking about the T.
Yeah.
And the T is for transgendered, you guys. Are you listening? Everybody, turn your radios up. It's about to go down. And so, I mean, I don't. We can work this however you want. You want to add, add in or whatever. But I'm just gonna be looking at Raven here, and I'm just gonna, all right. And so, how do we address you? Like, so you're transgender, or what is the difference between transsexual and transgender? What is that?
It's the same. It's under the same umbrella.
Right.
The only difference is the name.
The name?
Now, as far as the names that they're trying to get into, the she-males, the ladyboys, the transsexuals, the drag queens, the cross-dressers.
So much going on.
A lot.
Like, I mean, I'm just getting over like gay people. Not like I'm the battery, but I'm like, now I'm good with gay people. I'm in the Soho. I'm in New York. They're holding hands, walking down the street. So I'm like unstigmatized, I guess. What's the word? Yeah, I'm like good with that. I'm like not in culture shock. But now there's this other part, this other thing.
That's been around for years. That's just starting to get a little knowledge.
A little knowledge.
And it's so hot right now. I mean,
what makes it hot?
You have Laverne Cox from
what?
Orange is the New Black on the cover of Time magazine, made history.
She also nominated for an Emmy.
Right.
Really? So is she like the queen of? Is she transsexual, transgender? Like, I don't know.
Transgender.
So so all right. I mean, I don't know how to bring this up, but I'm just gonna say it. So does Laverne have a peepee or no? How do you say that?
Well, what she, if I can just jump in.
Yeah, please jump in.
She is one of those people that doesn't like to speak about her genitals.
So when they don't want to speak about it, that means they probably have a penis?
I don't know, but she doesn't answer the question. But you go ahead. What kind of tea do you have about it?
Yeah, like...
As far as, it's just like talking to any woman. You don't ask a woman when you walk up to her, how big is your vagina, what does it look like, how does it taste?
Yeah, but women look normal, like, and I don't mean that in the this is one of the things too.
No, just
not like you don't look normal, but everybody is everybody and everything is amazing. But you wouldn't ask a woman that because you kind of assume that a woman has a vagina. I mean, nobody wants to know if it's big. Like, I want her to have a little one.
But if a woman is interested in you, she's gonna let you know more going between her legs. If she's not interested, you're not gonna know anything.
Yeah, and so what you're saying, it's rude to like.
I mean, if you feel as though there's gonna be, as far as contact with each other, then, of course you can go a little further, but, people are going to do what people want to do anyway, so, as far as Laverne Cox and stuff like that, I don't really know what's between her legs.
Right. And do you blame people for staring?
No, people are supposed to stare.
Right.
I mean, I stare at people, so why would I get mad at somebody staring at me? It doesn't make sense.
And how old were you when this all began? Like, so were you I'm just going to be... So you were like a guy, right? Right?
Yes,
I mean, can I say that?
Sure, I can.
All right, I mean, please. I just want to say, I don't know and I want to learn. I don't. If I'm being rude, let me know I'm being rude. And if you don't want to answer anything, you don't even have to do that. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful.
Isn't it great?
Oh, my God. And so, how old were you, like, when you felt... So, I mean, how do we... I don't
well, what happened was...
I'm bugging right now.
Well, what happened was, you tell your parents, but people point out to you before you know what you are.
Right.
When you act like a girl, you only being yourself. People say, well, you act like a girl, but you don't know how to act like a boy. The way you're acting is
you're just being yourself.
You're being yourself. You're criticized for being yourself. You go to your parents, you tell your parents, they say, well, that's not the way they want you to be.
Did your parents ostracize you? I mean, but when you came out to them, like, they didn't, like, kick you out of the family?
Yeah, they did. But they did? Oh, yeah, but I told my parents when I was very young.
How old was very young? Because your hands are
3 or
low.
4.
3 or 4 years old?
You know.
How do you say that at 3 or 4 years old?
You take a toy, you put a truck in front of a boy, you put a doll in front of the boy, and you find out which one he goes to.
Oh my God, 3 or 4 years old? Like, you just learned how to walk. How do you know that?
But see, this is the thing people don't understand. They're looking at kids as small as individuals. Most kids are more, I always call them reincarnated because they know too much too fast.
Right.
And they can teach you a lot of things.
Yeah.
People think of them as that they're bringing them back a new baby, a new boy. No, you brought back another life from someone who passed on. Once they were dying, the baby was ready. They came through back again. That's why the kids now are out of control.
Right.
You can't tell kids what to do. They got to tell you.
Oh, my God.
But you were born this way. Like, you've known forever.
I know. They tried to reconstruct me over. So
did they like do like mental kind of like?
Of course.
Oh my God! So that you went to like psychiatrists and everything?
No, we were black, we were poor. You went to church.
Exactly. They prayed, honey. They prayed over your life, honey.
They prayed the gay away. Obviously it didn't work.
No, it didn't.
That's the funniest thing, I always say when people take kids to churches and stuff like that because they want to change them.
Right.
You're actually